Now, listen, you guys, today's video is one of those where you're just like, oh my God, do I really have to do this or not? But then you realize that, listen, you've got to do this because if you do not do that, it means that different narratives, crazy narratives are going to be spun around. I'm talking about this entire Jetavia and Akbar V as well as Nicki Minaj situation. And we're also going to be talking about the Transformer flopping hard and the husband spiraling, as well as the Breakfast Club being accused of doing the unthinkable to other female rappers. Now, these are some of the things that we are going to be discussing in this video. Hello, tea lovers, and welcome to the Tea Plug. I trust you guys are doing well, and I trust you are doing great. Personally, I am doing great, you guys. I am doing extremely amazing. And without further ado, let us dive straight into today's tea. So I think I'm going to start with the smaller issues because I feel like this entire JT and Nicki Minaj and Akbar V situation is going to take long. So let me start with the smaller topics, so to say. So first of all, let's talk about the Transformer and her latest release, okay? You guys do know that she has a song with Rob49, okay? So the song dropped with a video, but it seems like her fans are out there convincing each other or questioning whether YouTube has frozen the views to her song, because it seems like, well, the views are just not going up. The views are just stuck in one place. And it's so bad to the fact that, well, they are alluding to YouTube doing this. Okay. Now, personally, am I surprised that this would happen? That her views would not go up or listenership would not be that great in as far as the late new releases are concerned? Absolutely not. I do feel like these are the consequences that she's facing for how she has treated her fans, because at the end of the day, regardless of who you think you are, you guys, there are consequences to actions. You may be the biggest industry plant, of the entire decade. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be consequences to your action. And it's insane that she believes that she can talk to her fans anyhow and still have her support her the way they used to before. Because these are the same fans that she went online and cast out 2 or 3 days before she dropped this. And she expects the same fans to go out and check out a song. Is that not delusion? Now, listen, I would understand if your bars were, above mediocre. But for somebody who's out there coming out, giving out people mediocre music, we wouldn't expect you to have the audacity or the delusion to be cussing out people, because if they're listening to your releases that are mediocre, it's because they're genuinely supporting you. Now, listen, human beings are emotional beings, okay? We may lie to each other and say that, oh my God, I'm this, or it's just about music, or it's just entertainment. But at the end of the day, if you treat people bad, people have emotions. Now, if you have like extraordinary kind of music, your bars are so, your impact is so so influential that it cannot be ignored, then maybe you can get away with, treating people badly and saying all these things. But you cannot afford to be a mediocre artist like the Transformer and still have the personality. That's just not practical. So, yeah, I personally don't think that anything happened in as far as that is concerned. And overall, I do think that as a female rapper, she has become less interesting. Because if you go on a rant for 2 hours the previous day before your release, by the time you release, we're tired of you. By the time you release, anything to do with you sounds and seems exhausting to us. So I hope she understands that these rants do not help her career at all, because honestly speaking, as for me, I spent a lot of time editing, that 2-hour rant of her and doing commentary on it. And I do understand that, well, I am sort of obliged to go and, listen to a song so that I can give you an informed feedback of what the song sounds like. But after those rants, you guys, I'm sorry, I still have not listened to that song. That's why I cannot comment on whether it's actually good or not, except the clips that I saw on Twitter. The song in its entirety, I have not listened to it. I've bumped into the clips on Twitter. I've bumped into the reviews by people on Twitter. That's why when you hear me say mediocre, I'm not referring to just this release of hers. I'm referring to all her releases. She's a mediocre artist. Okay? But up to now, even as a blog that focuses on female rap, I have not listened to that, because I just am tired of listening to her ranting for 2 hours straight And yeah, that's just how uninteresting she's become. On a normal day, I would have gone on over there to check what Paddison had to say, because at the end of the day, it's, Paddy B, the group that we're listening to when we listen to her, okay? So on a normal day, I would go and check Paddison's lyrics and see if he has something new and things like that, but I didn't even do that. So yeah, let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about that. Now, it seems like she's not the only one who's going through it. It seems like, well, in that household, it's insane because the husband is also coming out, calling out, Capitol Records. This is what he had to say on his Twitter. He said, Capitol Records, some BS. And then people obviously were dragging him in the neighborhood comment section. And so one person said, wife can't drop an album and the husband can sell an album. Sheesh. And he had the time to respond to that person and said, you must dislike your life. Go look what I sold last album, broke behind. And now it was a full circle moment. Now I understand why these people stay married, because you can tell that their mindset is the same. The wife's go-to insult is, oh my God, you're so broke. The husband's go-to insult now is, oh my God, you're so broke. So if any of you used to wonder with the, level of ignorance and slowness that the Transformer has, what they talk about with Offset, this is what they talk about. This is exactly, they are so made for each other. Now, after seeing his response as a man, I'm like, why are you being Ari Fletcher in this comment section? Because these are the things that Ari Fletcher says. We expect it from Ari Fletcher, and we expected it from your wife, because we have come to terms with the fact that, well, she's not the brightest one in the room. And I don't say this to be shady, but I'm just saying sometimes when she says these things, I'm just like, oh, well, typical behavior for somebody who's not that smart. But Offset, I didn't realize that you're also not. Why are you being Ari Fletcher? Oh my God. You guys, let me know in the comment section what you think about that. This is typical new money behavior. Like, let me just give you a piece of advice. If you walk into a room and you find yourself inclined to think that everybody else in that room is broke, or you've got more money than everybody in that room, or that you're more educated than every person that in that room, that's just bad etiquette. If it's about money, that's just new money behavior, and it's embarrassing. You cannot do things like that. Anyway, let us move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about, Jatavia's release. It seems like Erica Banks was out there supporting JT, and it seems like Caresha finally has also shown her support towards Jatavia. You do know that people were saying that, well, JT was taking shots at Caresha in the song, in the mixtape, and so people are like, oh, so where is Caresha in this? We're not seeing her promoting a friend's project. And so finally Young Miami did share a screenshot of Jatavia's song where she mentions Jatavia and says, I did it with Caresha, I did it for the city. And of course that was her showing support. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think about Caresha's support. The next thing that we're going to talk about, the Breakfast Club is being accused of being unprofessional. People are pointing out that, well, in their latest episode, they did not make mention of Jatavia's mixtape at all. Like, literally ignored it, like it does not exist. Now, for those of you who do not know, Jatavia and the Transformer don't see eye to eye, and the Breakfast Club are basically a fan page. It's not a page, then I guess a fan station or a fan show of the Transformer, because I'm just like, this is what we have reduced female rap to. An entire radio station is taking sides in a beef between women, because Jatavia has never had any direct disrespect or interaction with the Breakfast Club as a whole. Not with Charlamagne, not with Envy, not with that girl that's on there, the Jess woman that's on there, not with any of them. The only person that she's had an interaction with is the Transformer. And when that happened, they spoke about it and they took the Transformer side. Not that I'm surprised. I mean, you have an entire radio DJ, radio personality sitting on air and saying that they will forever bias when it comes to a certain female rapper because they came to their daughter's birthday party. And the Breakfast Club, mind you, used to be a very respected platform, for hip hop. So I can't imagine that this is what they have turned female rap to. I blame Pacific. I blame Pacific because they made it impossible to be shamelessly biased on an like these people are supposed to be professionals. You cannot be comparing the Breakfast Club to the Neighborhood Talk or to me or to any other channel on YouTube. You can't be comparing that to them, and you can also not be comparing the Breakfast Club to the likes of academics. No, you guys, this is different. These people are professionals. So for a professional to sit up there and totally ignore and blackball an artist because they went against their favorite is insane to me. Things were not like that before the Transformer came around. Pacific has successfully destroyed female rap as a whole, because where are we headed? You have an actual woman who sat down to write their own mixtape, to write their own raps, and you guys are choosing to ignore that woman's release because she is against a reciter who happens to be Dominican and light-skinned. Not light-skinned, YT. It's crazy, you guys. But hey, let me know in the comment section what you think about that. Now, let us move on to the most dreaded part of this video, which is the Chetavia, Nicki Minaj, and Akbar situation. Now, the interaction between Chetavia and Nicki Minaj has been limited for the past couple of months. That is no secret. The two of them used to be all lovey-dovey and stuff like that on Twitter and on Instagram. So, of course, fans did notice that, well, the interaction is not the same. And obviously that made people come up with different narratives that the two of them had fallen out and stuff like that. So narratives like that started flying around. But up to now, no one has directly come out to say, oh my God, yes, I don't mess with this person and stuff like that. Nobody has done that. So you do know that the City Cinderella mixtape dropped, and people started saying, why is Nicki Minaj not posting and promoting the City Cinderella mixtape? Okay, why is she not being nice to Chetavia? Chetavia promoted her own stuff and things like that, and that narrative started flying around, and Nicki Minaj paid the dust. Nicki Minaj was on station head interacting with her Barbz and did not even address that. Now, first of all, let us talk about Nicki Minaj promoting, the mixtape. My opinion, I do not feel like she's obliged to promote the mixtape. Nicki is not a feature on that mixtape, okay? And Nicki promoting that mixtape, if we are going to be honest, Chetavia has her own ops that she was throwing shots at. You have, Cousin Sloth, you have the Transformer. So if Nicki were to go out there and promote the mixtape, the narrative that would be spun over there. It's all JT only made those numbers because Nicki Minaj promoted her. Or JT threw those shots at the Transformer because Nicki Minaj is out there promoting her. So either way, when it comes to Nicki Minaj, posting JT's mixtape, it's doomed if she does, doomed if she doesn't. Because if she does, you have seen how desperate the Transformer is when it comes to wanting to have a beef, rekindled with Nicki Minaj again. She wants a Nicki Minaj interaction so bad. And it wouldn't be surprising that if Nicki were to post that mixtape where JT is taking shots at the Transformer would then find a way to directly come for Nicki Minaj to bait her into another exchange. Do you guys get where I'm coming from? So this in itself is a complicated situation. That's number one. Number two, I saw people comparing, Drake, saying that, well, you guys were mad when Drake did not post the album and things like that. And I'm like, Drake was a literal feature on that album. Drake was on that album. That's a different story. Number one. Number two, you would be insane to compare the relationship that is between Drake and Nicki Minaj and the relationship that is between Nicki Minaj and JT. Just get real for a little bit. The fact that you would even bring up Drake as a comparison in this one is insane to me. Are you mad? JT and Nicki Minaj versus Drake and Nicki Minaj, and you think that that's the same relationship? Are you insane? Oh my God. Let me know, you guys, in the comment section what you think about that. Now, things sort of escalated when Nicki Minaj went on station head, and she said something about people who did not like you in the past now all of a sudden liking you. Let me just insert that snippet, and then I will get into the commentary afterwards.
Well, but you also have to question why a person would go from unliking you to loving you. Is that odd? Well, you don't say. But you also have to question why a person would go from unliking
Well,
you
there you heard what
to
Nicki
love.
Minaj had to say. So people started rushing to say that, well, she's referring to Jetavia because you guys do know that beforehand, JT wrote an entire district towards Nicki Minaj, and clearly she did not like Nicki Minaj and she went to loving Nicki Minaj. So people started saying that, well, it is JT that, Nicki is referring to, and, Twitter ran around with that narrative and things like that. And personally, I will not run with that narrative because, listen, it's a lot of people that could apply to. Joe Biden at some point did not like Nicki Minaj and then went back to liking Nicki Minaj. And the Transformer was just on that rant. So what's to say that Nicki was not talking about Joe? What's to say that Nicki Minaj is not talking about any other situation? I personally refuse to buy into that narrative. But anyway, that's the narrative that Twitter decided to run with, okay? And now, personally, the reason why I refuse to play into these things, because I see some of you saying, oh my God, it seems you don't like Nicki Minaj. This is why. Oh, you're picking JT. Oh, you're listening to a mixtape. Oh, you just... Listen, these things like this, these are the things that make her look bad. It's our reactions that make Nicki Minaj look bad at the end of the day. She did not publicly come out and say that everything pertains is in relation to JT. What narrative do you think people are going to create if we start all of a sudden doing this on JT's release date? For sometimes we need to be smart. If you choose to not support Jetavia, it's totally fine. But to drag her either on a release date, that is doing, if anything, it's actually doing more bad than good. If you feel like you don't want to support her and you feel like something is amiss, go ahead and do that in silence. Why do you have to come on the TL to drag the girl on a release date? And all this while, you guys were very quiet. Some of you guys were quiet all this while. And you decide her release date is the date that you decide to bring it to the TL. Do not make Nicki Minaj look miserable in the guise of being a fan. Don't do that. That's just bad, in my own opinion. Now, the next thing that happened in this entire shenanigans is that there is a claim that's flying around saying that, well, JT told Nicki Minaj that she doesn't need her or the Barbz, and told her that she does nothing for her. And JT told a big Nicki Minaj fan to tell them to stop supporting her. She doesn't need them. Okay? Now, this is interesting, you guys. The Nicki Minaj part where people are saying that JT told Nicki Minaj this. Who's coming with this information? The direct JT and Nicki Minaj interaction. Who is bringing this information to the TL? Who heard this conversation between JT and Nicki Minaj? So that one, I will take it with a grain of salt. That part I would not even, that part I'm not feeding into that because it's not making sense. Like, if that was the case, who's bringing it to the TL, you guys? Who's bringing Nicki Minaj and JT's conversation to the TL? Now, the part that I will believe is the part that where they're saying that JT went to a fan page and a big fan page and told them that she doesn't need the Barbz support. That one I will buy into because I really do think that fan page is not on some malicious stuff, and they also do handle their business in a very smart way. So I do really, believe that. And so, according to this person, the fan page was told that they shouldn't support her and she doesn't need them, and that, well, when Barbz support her, it's weird or doing too much and stuff like that. Now, that one I will believe, okay? Because that entire I don't need you and you're doing too much, that is very JT coded. JT is very capable of saying things like that. Very capable of saying things like that. So that is believable to me. Now, was it a smart thing for her to approach a Barbz page saying that? Absolutely not. Because in as much as we love her mixtapes, we love her talent, we love everything about her and stuff like that, let us also not act like her being associated with Nicki Minaj did not help her solo career. She came out herself and told us that Nicki Minaj gave her the confidence to be dropping songs and to be doing this again. So for her to act like she doesn't need Nicki Minaj or Nicki Minaj has not done anything to her career as a solo artist, I feel like that's just her being ungrateful, if we're going to be honest. I feel like that's her being ungrateful. Now, talking about the Barbz and talking about how they do too much. Sometimes we do too much. We do too much. I get it. But saying that she doesn't need the Barbz, I feel like, girl, get real. Because the atmosphere would have been different had she dropped a mixtape. Had she dropped even those first singles that she dropped, and she didn't have any association with Nicki Minaj, nobody was going to be checking for her. Today I stand here saying that I love JT, I love her music, I love her talent, I love what she did with the mixtape. But the person who gave her that platform, who amplified her visibility, is definitely Nicki Minaj. I've always known that, well, in as far as rapping is concerned, she's the better half of the city girls, in as far as talent is concerned. That I've always known. But to say that I would like sit down and proper take my time and say that, well, I'm gonna listen to city girls music because I want to listen to JT's part, I never did that. I never did that until she got featured on Super Freaky Girl. That's when I was like, oh, now did you get what I'm saying? So I feel like she shouldn't get way too ahead of herself. Otherwise, she would get a rude awakening, just like Ice Spice. I understand her trying to create her own fan base. Let us talk about that as well. She's not wrong for wanting to have her own fan base that are not associated with, them being Barbz. She's not wrong for wanting people to support her because she's JT, not because she's cool with Nicki Minaj. She's not wrong for that because getting support because you're cool with Nicki Minaj will never give you longevity. In the long run, after stuff has all been said and done, a Barb will always be a Barb. At least if one has always been a true Barb, they will always be a Barb. It's rare occasions that you see genuine Barbs switching on Nicki Minaj. Actual Barbs rarely do that. Except these, came from nowhere kind of Barbs. Those ones are the ones capable of doing that entire switch up. Or if they get paid money with record labels as being alleged on the TL, those are the ones that are capable of doing that. But a regular Nicki Minaj fan would never, if it comes down to it, if you fall out with Nicki Minaj at the end of it all, I can say all these things that I'm saying, but I will tell you down, if it comes down to picking, it's Nicki Minaj over everyone. Do you understand? So she's not wrong for wanting people to support her because she's her. But the problem is majority of the people that she's now calling juvies got to support her through Nicki Minaj. That's the reality that she's not ready for. That the majority of the people that are hyping her, that she's calling juvies, a lot of them got to know of her through Nicki Minaj. Okay, so I hope she treads carefully. I hope she knows exactly what's happening. I hope she handles this with grace, and I hope she does not disrespect Nicki Minaj in the process, because once she does that, it's going to be a rude awakening for her. But her wanting to have her own fan base is definitely not wrong. And I remember that time when she was out there having, fights with Barbz on Twitter and things like that. It was mainly because her ops, she has her own ops, you guys. Her ops were now saying that, well, don't let the Barbz gas you up. Oh my God, you're getting all this support just because you're a Barb. And if we're going to be honest, that's kind of true. So it's sad that this is the state of female rap. It's very sad, and that's why even before they fell out, I always came on here saying that if you do support JT or any other artist that is cool with Nicki Minaj, make sure it's not because they're cool with Nicki Minaj. If you go ahead and listen to their music, if you're going hard on if you're going hard for them, make sure it's because you just love their craft. Never make it about you liking Nicki Minaj, because then you will feel used. When it comes out that these people are now being cocky and stuff like that, you will then feel used. I personally would rather support JT because I know that she wrote her own songs. Do you understand? The difference between me saying I would never support the Transformer is I feel like the Transformer went, it's too much. That one is too complicated. Because that's a mission to end someone. That's why for me the Transformer will forever be a no to me, because it's bigger than just music. This girl went too far. But when it comes to somebody falling out with Nicki Minaj like JT right now, if they're saying that, well, there's tension and stuff like that, there's not public disrespect like that. And JT is not on a mission to end Nicki Minaj. Do you understand? So I would rather give her a chance. I would rather give her music a listen, because I genuinely do like female rap. So I would rather give JT a listen knowing that she writes her own raps before I give the Transformer any time of the day. But that being said, the moment Jetavia publicly comes out here and disrespects Nicki Minaj is the day that things will be different. And I'm very petty for that. I will own up to that, because to me also, music is more than just lyrics and being a good writer. It's also about principles and personality and being grateful when you have to be grateful. So yeah, that's the long and short of it, you guys. Let me know in the comment section, what you think about that. Now, amidst all of that, there were audios that were released on Twitter, and people were saying that Akbar V was talking ish about Nicki Minaj with JT. So they were just snippets that were circulating around, and yeah, it is Akbar's voice in that audio. I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely her voice. And she first initially she denied that. She said that wasn't her, and people started saying, "Oh wow, is that AI? What's happening?" And then later on, she came out and she was explaining that, well, it was a fake page that was faking to be from Nicki Minaj's team, and they were accusing me of not being loyal to Nicki Minaj because of Meek Mill, and it is just an entire mess. It's a whole mess, you guys. Let's see how this is going to play out. Let us see how this is going to play out. I will insert a snippet of Akbar coming out to clear the air on Spaces. She came out and she tried to clear the air about this entire Nicki Minaj situation on Spaces. And so yeah, do stay tuned. I will insert that. But before I go, I also want to talk about these fan pages that are seemingly dragging Nicki Minaj and saying that, well, she has to be the problem and she falls out with JT and things like that. And they're out there saying that, well, you're trying to tell us not to support another woman. I don't think anyone is trying to say that you can't support another woman or you can't listen to who you want to listen to. I think the problem comes when your name is Nicki Bab Minaj, your username on Twitter, and you're coming over here massively promoting another person. I think if you come with your name and your name is is Leslie, and you're out here supporting all women as you want to be, it wouldn't be an issue. Don't pause on the TL as a fan page, and then when you get there, you're going against whatever the fan base is standing for. That is the issue. And people like to play ignorant and play dumb. Okay, and I saw somebody being mad, oh, Nicki Minaj blocked me. I've always supported her because I said my word. Oh, no one can make me. I'm a grown person. I will support who I want to be. Maybe if your username wasn't Maraj, you wouldn't have an issue. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, use your own name. If you like, if that's what you, because you can't be stunting as a stand page, and then when you get checked, because now you're doing the things that stand pages do not do. Why can't you just come with your name, Leslie Brown, Leslie Johnson, and talk your ish and see if Nicki Minaj will have issues with you? The issue is you come out here saying that your name is Nika Miraj or something like that, something representing her with a profile picture that has hair on there, and then now you're saying that what I have to say what I want to say. Nobody can tell me what to do. Stop being a weird bee. Okay? Anyway, that being said, you guys, thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for making it this far. I will insert Akbar's snippet after this. Do not forget to subscribe. This video became super long because I felt like we needed to properly explain things before they're taken out of context. And until my next one, see you.